Hi, I'm Johnny Dodge.
Let's go. Our goal with all our customers is it's never about the money, it's about that. What creates happiness? Those money can't buy experiences, those things. The jet business, I've kind of been around it such a long period of time now.
Oh, it's a real experience. And some of them have gyms on board, cinema rooms.
Do you prefer the ocean or the sky?
We have 8 companies in the group that range from everything from space travel to resorts to Formula One. So I got shipwrecked on a desert island in the Pacific Ocean. So 10 days with no food, water or shelter.
Oh my God. Did you think you were going to die?
We wanted to bring together all our network. We've got interesting, exciting people from astronauts to billionaires together. So we started hosting global committee events around the world.
How did you meet Elon Musk, by the way?
So without further ado, I'm Radin Jerome. Wherever you are in your life or wherever you're going, whether financially, spiritually, or for your health, I hope you're on your way. Now let's get into it.
Johnny.
Hey man, how we doing? Welcome.
Welcome to the pod. Appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thanks for the lift.
Well, we got your car following us.
Yeah.
We should have actually had your car following us. If they knew what car you had, they'd be like, why are you guys in this car? I've never had somebody that's come into my car and make it look like their car so quickly as you have. And I'm the guest. Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Tell me how you started. I mean, I've done research, right, about you. I'm very impressed, by the way.
Thanks.
Tell me how you got started. Tell me from the beginning.
That's a long story. I mean,
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in. Is that my phone?
That's your phone. I thought you were a professional. Come on, Johnny. I thought you were a professional.
It's fine.
No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it
I thought
again.
you were recording. No, keep it going. It's good.
No, I'm not recording. No. It's bleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me from the beginning.
Look, I grew up down in.
You can give me the nutshell version.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I grew up down in Somerset in the UK.
Yep.
And went to uni down that way, and then I was like, I want to do some exciting stuff, and I want to do something interesting, and I decided to move to London. And that was you look at those change points in life where something changed. You move from being that country boy to, and my dad always advised me. He's like, you got to live in a big city once in your life. So I went and took my master's degree in London, and that kind of opened up a world of new experiences for me, right? So, and then that took me into, I remember doing my first internship, again, like something that creates that little stepping stone in life, whilst I was doing my master's degree at St Martin's College, and ended up working for this agency that we sponsored all these celebrity parties around the world, which was super cool. So during like London Fashion Week and everything like this, and so by accident I became this guy that every cool celebrity party organizer wanted to meet, because I was the one giving them money to sponsor it. So I got invited to all these cool events, and then ended up on this like London circuit of like going to 3-4 different parties every night and meeting people, and those connections just like expanded my world. And I really then saw that opportunity as kind of my black book built, and that created so many different options for me that I could then go and explore. So it was a super exciting time. And one day I met this guy, and he was organising the Gumball Rally. And it's like a celebrity supercar rally around the world. And from there, he was organising a boat rally at the time. He's like, look, can you help me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So like, I mean, I didn't know much about it, but I've been to enough parties. So I was like, right, I'll organise you a launch party. And knew a lot about boats because my family were in yachts. My dad used to fit out super yachts, and we always had boats when I was younger. So then organised this boat rally from London to France. We got like Tower Bridge to open. We were racing in speedboats. You know, there's no speed limit on the Thames. Unknown fact.
Isn't there?
So we were doing like 80 miles an hour on race boats underneath Tower Bridge. It was epic. And then headed to France, and everything from a jet ski to a 100-foot Sunseeker. So it was a great trip. And then then end up organising the Gumball after that. So that was kind of a stepping stone into that world. That went on to nightclubs, and then I bought a nightclub with it was a few friends at the time, and basically I went to my mum and she was going to give me money to buy a house, and I was like, can I go and buy a nightclub instead?
Like a deposit or the whole money?
Yeah,
all of the money, okay.
So I was like, and she said, look, I was like, I guess it's a house, isn't it? I was like, yeah, mum. Yeah. So she did, and then at the time I was lucky enough to have a mate, a guy called Tony Fernandez, a billionaire that owns
Not AirAsia.
Yeah, Tony.
He's a friend of yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We know Tony.
So I credit a lot to Tony. Tony was a mentor of mine.
No way.
And I think I was lucky enough along the way to have a lot of incredibly influential and wealthy people as mentors, and I think that's what I accredit kind of a lot of things that I've done too. So so Tony came to me and he's like, "Oh, I'd love to invest in that club." And
yeah, he loves that.
Yeah.
He's in the music game.
He
loves
is. I mean,
it.
that's where he started out. He used to be an accountant for Richard at Virgin Records.
Yeah.
He then went on to be president at Warner Music, and then
in Malaysia.
In Asia. And then, and then of course went on to the airline, which he bought for $1. And,
I remember.
Yeah, turned it into the world's fastest growing airline at the time. So, and having a business partner that was owned an airline, a football team, a Formula One team, I was like, why can't I do the same, you know? And so at the time, then Tony even said to me, like, "Oh, do you want to come and work for the team?" I was like, "I don't, but like, if you could introduce you to Bernie Eccleston, that'd be amazing." So he did, and I had the call with Bernie, and that then was a great stepping stone for me. I remember calling up Formula One management and just being like, "Hi, can I speak to Bernie Eccleston?" And they were like, "We'll let him know you called." And then I called up again the next week, and they were like, "Yeah, cool, we'll let him know."
Yeah.
And then 3
He
weeks,
knows.
3 weeks later, I got a phone call. It was like, "Mr. Eccleston's on the phone for you."
Wow.
And he said, "Look, Johnny, I've heard some good things about you, and what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Look, I want to do the Grand Prix ball." And he's like, "Yeah, with my blessing, you can do it." And then, but also, whilst you're there, we're doing this thing called F1 Rocks, and I'd love you to go and meet this guy, Rob. He's doing the concerts. Why don't you do the parties and work with him, doing them around the world? And I was like, okay. Wow. So ended up kind of traveling around the world to these incredible F1 events and organising them. And that's kind of where it kicked off, I guess.
What a life. What a crazy life.
It's been fun.
And how old were you when you met Tony?
Well, I just fit, so in my early 20s, 24, 25, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Are you still in touch with Tony?
Yeah, of course. So
incredible. He's based in Malaysia still, isn't he?
Oh, he travels a lot, so
Yeah,
he's in the UK quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of our clients is Airbus at the moment. We were just chatting a few weeks back because I wanted to invite him to do some cool events with Airbus.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some cool stuff going on.
That you guys working on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, incredible. So and you did you meet Richard Branson through Tony?
I didn't know. So actually, I met Richard. There were a lot of kind of first or odd meetings with Richard, but a great friend of mine that helped me launch one of my businesses, Space Experiences. So we have a company that sends people to space.
Yes.
We launched that about 5 years ago, and we've sent our first 2 clients into space a couple of years ago.
Okay. And it's in a like a Boeing, like a normal passenger jet.
So there's zero G, which is the weightless experiences, where you go up and you do a weightless experience, so you feel like you're floating in space, which is super cool. Highly recommended.
Okay.
And then the space trip we did was with Blue Origin, so we took 2 clients out with Blue Origin.
Oh, I see.
Jeff Bezos' rocket.
Yeah.
So the guy that helped me with that was a guy called Alex Tai, who founded Virgin Galactic with Richard.
Yep.
And met Richard through him, a few other friends, and then ended up getting invited to Necker Island. And then now I go every year to Necker, or I've been skiing with him in Verbier, so I love going on trips. And it's always with kind of like-minded entrepreneurs, and it's really an inspiring time. So I love those weeks with him and kind of chatting about interesting stuff and really being with people that want to change the planet and make some big impact.
Of course. Your network is crazy.
Oh, well, I mean, but that's what I love. I love talking to people. I love chatting with them, and that's what's exciting.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. So talking about zero G, by the way, because that seems exciting. What's the feeling of no gravity? What is that feeling like? Do you get sick? Like when you go out and you have a few drinks, you feel like you want to vomit?
Well, yeah.
Because there's nothing pushing it down, right? Your stomach isn't being pushed down.
It's quite complicated. So first of all, it's called the vomit comet.
Okay.
And second of all, you're not just weightless. You also go from you go up in a parabola
Yes.
shape.
Yeah.
And when
then
you
come
hit the
down.
bottom of that, you're in 2 Gs.
Yes.
Now, on an average trip, we do about 13 or 14 times. So you're going from 0 G to
I
2 G
see.
to 0 G to 2 G to 0. So
I see.
it's not the smoothest of experiences. So for 48 hours before, you have a managed diet. You take tablets just before the flight. But yeah, you don't want to be that guy that gets sick because they strap you down at the back and you have a bag and you're still going to go through that whole journey for the rest of the time. But yeah, fortunately, I've got a relatively good stomach and it's an incredible experience. And the first thing you do is you start to swim around, which obviously doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it's then when you start to understand it and kind of push yourself off the walls, and yeah, when you open a bottle of water and the globules come out, you try and catch it in your mouth. It's
Crazy.
It's a pretty crazy experience
Yeah.
and something that I mean, we suggest people train a lot on that first, and then when you go up to space, then you can focus on the view, which is such an incredible experience and life-changing. So yeah.
So you go up and down 14 times.
Yeah.
Okay. Now how long do you feel weightlessness for every time?
So on each parabola, it depends, but around about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Plenty.
Oh yeah, I mean, you count out
Plenty.
30 seconds of weightlessness, you'd know about it. So yeah, exactly.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it
And how
really
much is a
is.
trip like that?
So about $10,000, a very cheap.
No
relatively.
way.
Yeah.
And where did this
absolutely.
fly from?
So there is 3 places in the world you can do it. Star City in Russia, which challenging right now. In France with ESA, the European Space Agency, although they use that 99% of the time for their own scientific research.
Sure.
And then 0 G in the US, which is one aircraft that travels around the US. So that is your best option. Contact our team and we'll get you up there.
And that's the company you did it with. Okay. And how much is it to go to with Blue Origin to go to space?
That is under NDA, unfortunately.
Millions.
In the low millions.
In the low
yes.
millions.
You can start from trips from a few $100,000 to go with space perspective, where you don't go weightless, but you go up to the top.
You just got a nice view.
Yeah, you're within the balloon, which will be launching hopefully later this year or next year.
Okay.
Then through to Galactic, then through to Blue Origin, which isn't too much more, and then through to Axiom, which is around 65 million, which will take you for around about a week in space up at the space station, which is a pretty life-changing trip. And currently there is 3 astronauts up there doing that right now as we speak.
And they paid 65 million.
That's the budget, yeah.
So you got to be a billionaire to be able to do these.
Absolutely,
Of course.
all backed by a government that wants you to go up and things like
Research
that.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You should get your pilot license.
I was in the RAF cadets when I was younger, so it's definitely on my list. I did a bit of, and I've done some stunt pilot training in the US, which was super cool, learning to fly basically an air display.
Yeah,
so
okay.
That was, I've certainly done some bits, but yeah, finding the time is definitely a priority. And my captain's license on my boat as well, so that's the other thing.
The skipper's license. Do you prefer the ocean or the sky?
I think the ocean, because you can spend more time, you can travel to I mean, the experience of being on water, there's nothing like it. I think that I worked out recently, I've tended to spend about 3 months a year on a boat, so that it works out pretty well. But I mean, that's what I love. I just love waking up in the morning on the water, and that can be on a little sailing boat or it can be on a huge super yacht. Either way, it's such an incredible experience, waking up, diving in the sea, and it's just a wonderful place to relax in this busy world that we have. You know?
Of course. We've got a boat, and whenever I go on the boat, I feel like all my problems are on the land.
Yes,
So I'm like, I'm immune to it right now. I'm good. I'm outside.
Yeah,
so.
it's a very peaceful place to be. I think there's definitely some psychology around being on the water.
So you've got a company called YourSky.
Yes.
And that company is basically a brokerage for private jets and people that want to charter private jets, but you specialize in the long body, in the wide body.
On the larger aircraft. Well,
Yes.
wide body is, I mean, that's technically, if you're talking about the aircraft we're dealing with, that would be the 777 size
Of
or
course,
the
of course.
A330s.
By the way,
but-
why are we not doing a podcast on one of your jets?
we should go fly somewhere. We were looking at empty legs this morning, actually.
I was actually looking at your empty legs. I sent it to my business partner. I was like, you want to go to, I don't know, where was one of them? It was like to Istanbul or something. Yeah.
A quick trip.
Yeah, we should do that.
It's one of the perks of the job for sure.
We should definitely do a podcast next time.
There you go.
Have you
Well,
ever done a podcast on a jet?
I haven't, no, so maybe that's
Come on, that would go viral. You know that would go viral.
Absolutely, let's do it.
So, I don't know why we're not on your jet right now, but okay.
But yeah, the jet business, it's we specialize in ACJ, so Airbus private jets, which
Sure.
is the aircraft you usually travel on, like flying
Yes.
around the world, whether you're on the Emirates,
yeah.
or I mean. So the reality is
Even
taking
Tony can't get his hands on those.
turning that aircraft into something. I mean, we had a A330 on charter, and I mean that has a gym on board,
Wow.
cinema rooms, bedrooms. I mean, it's
Jesus.
completely incredible experience. So, and we've seen a huge trend. Like we spot a lot of trends in the luxury travel market now. When people are traveling with larger groups of friends, they're traveling places seasonally. They're going with their teams. So rather than a holiday now, it's a kind of a 3-month traveling plan with staff, with family. So people are wanting to do bigger trips with larger groups, and also the change away from people spending a lot of time specifically with their families and more traveling with friends or communities on these trips. So there's certainly some fun experiences, and I mean we've got the DJ decks out on the plane before. We've done some fun stuff. So but yeah, we're very lucky that it's one of our fastest growing companies in the group at the moment, and I'm very excited about it, and now just working on bringing some aircraft under management as well. So yeah, things are looking up.
Do you own the aircrafts?
No, so we do charter and brokerage at
Sure.
the moment. Again, that industry's, in terms of the capital you're looking to deploy, I mean, you're at in the hundreds of millions for some of those aircraft. So,
Of course. So, I own a accident replacement vehicle company in Australia, which we specialize in providing vehicles for people that have been in accidents.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So we specialize in insurance-based claims only. At the beginning, when we wanted to start off, nobody would give us a loan to buy a fleet of cars because we're a new business. So we would go and negotiate a deal and rent 30 cars and then on-rent them to the insurance companies because their pricing is different.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it works with you guys? You kind of rent it and on-rent it instead of getting a massive $200 million loan to purchase an aircraft?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's several ways to do it. You can either lease the aircraft, or you can charter and then broker the deal in between. Again,
I see.
it's a very interesting, because we have a yacht business as well, and it's seeing the difference in regulations and processes between the two. But I think that the jet business, I've kind of been around it for such a long period of time now, and but it's certainly an exciting industry, and there's a lot of growth. We are looking at putting a LOI down to purchase a new aircraft. So with a company called Beyond Aero.
Okay.
Which is making sustainable aviation possible, and looking at completely different fuel cell and hydrogen technology. So that is something that we're currently reviewing. So there is a future in being outside of traditional fossil fuels in aviation.
Talk to me about that. So what's the fuel for a vehicle like that? Is it hydrogen, like the buses?
So what? I mean, at the moment we're aviation fuel, and then there's an option for SAF, so sustainable aviation fuel, and this is something that we have been working on significantly. So now we offer this for our clients if they would like to take SAF on an aircraft. So that means that that's coming from used cooking oils, and so it's a fully sustainable way of using the traditional fuels, but on an aircraft. So at the moment we give that option as a client to use SAF on their flight. So we're conscious of the impact that it has, but again, a lot of these people that are flying around, it's important for them, so we're trying to make it as sustainable as possible.
I know you've got a relationship with Elon Musk. Have you floated this idea to Elon Musk?
I mean, Elon does have a Gulfstream and flies a lot, so he's very aware of that. I think SAF is going to become a mainstream product. It ultimately has to be. So it's something that we're marketing. Of course, you don't realise that you're using it, so it's not very tangible. But we're looking at ways of making that concept more tangible to the consumer, and doing more. It's about kind of seeing how we can learn how we can decarbonize the atmosphere and do more with it. So there's a lot in the pipeline. Yes.
I remember there was an interview with Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan asked him, what about airlines? And he said, airlines can wait right now. It's not the biggest deal. Right now we're going to focus on cars. So is that something that you think in the future will happen with airlines? I
mean, I think in that's certainly happening now. I mean, Virgin flew the first all SAF flight as a test flight. So Richard's certainly at the forefront of that as a test bed for it. And I mean, ultimately, when we're traveling around the globe in the future, we will be using things much like what SpaceX are using now. There's several different rocket technologies that means that we can get from London to Australia in an hour and a half, you know? So going kind of suborbital to do these flights is going to be a thing of the future. And as the world gets smaller, it's going to certainly get exciting.
When you say suborbital, do you mean where it's going to be 0 Gs?
That probably wouldn't be based on probably the practicality of going 0 G for customers isn't ultimately the best way of flying, but there's several different ways of managing that part of the process. But if people want to go 0 G, there's always ways to do that too.
You could, no, well, I'm thinking like in the future, you know, if it's going to take you 1 hour to get to London to Australia, I'm from Australia, right? Is that having to go into the orbit and then going across, or no, not necessarily? You don't need. I mean,
you don't necessarily need to, no, but there's different options. Yeah.
Got ya. Okay. You go on a lot of holidays. Okay, a lot of trips.
I love to travel.
Since we booked this podcast, you've gone on 2 trips. Yeah. Right? And I've been watching you enviously, okay? You just got back from a skiing trip, Davos.
Yes, I was. Well, that wasn't just. I was speaking at a conference in St. Moritz, and I was also kite skiing there.
Wow.
So a friend of mine, Bill Ty, organises that, who was the founder of Canva, in fact.
Yes.
He funded.
He's from Australia.
So he funded the lady who launched it. And that was, he saw her making yearbooks and wanted to kind of like see how she could develop it. So he gave her first funding. He also was the first investor in Zoom.
Wow.
And so very interesting character. But he has a huge passion for kite surfing, and I knew of him because I always used to go to Necker Island, and obviously Richard loves to kite, so we would be kiting there, and he mentioned about Bill, and so I wanted to go and do more with him. So I've been kite surfing around the world with Bill for the last couple of years now, actually.
Wow.
But, so we were in St. Moritz, and we had a conference there talking about kind of impact and future technologies, and I was kind of talking about our insights into the travel industry and the future we see of that. And then going on to Davos, of course, which I think is in terms of connections, networks, relationships, and really making an impact, it's such an important date on the calendar. So spent some time there and had some really interesting discussions. So, yeah.
The world leaders that go to Davos every year, just the biggest name. Do you have to be invited to Davos, or can anyone go?
It's complicated.
Sure.
So, of course, just to get into the hotel passes where the conference is, then you'd need to be invited, then you'd need to make the application and get approved by all of the CIA, MI5, and everyone else has to check your passport. Once your passport gets approved, then you'll be issued the hotel pass. But there's lots of other events that go on around that, on the promenade. So there is a whole world of experiences going on, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone that wants to understand more about how they can make a big impact in the world. It's definitely a place to go and level up.
I see. So even outside of the functions, you can have meetings and get-togethers with people and brainstorm ideas.
Absolutely.
I understand. Incredible. So the trip that you did before that,
yes,
crazy trip. What was that? You were in like Antarctica. What was you were on this big ship?
Oh, my Christmas holidays.
Was that your Christmas holiday? Was it? Okay. By the way, I don't know how many people would classify that as a Christmas holiday. You were like floating in what would look like Antarctica.
Yeah, we went. I did Antarctica a long time back now. That was one of my favourite trips, actually. I'm planning a trip back there, hopefully later this year, working on a world record attempt for the fastest crossing of Antarctica by car. So that'd be a very cool trip.
You're trying that?
Yes.
What car?
In a Toyota Hilux.
Wow.
So we do it a lot at the moment. We go up to Iceland and we work with those trucks. There's a company that manufacture them called Arctic Trucks that we work with. And we've been sending hundreds of people through these trips for years, and it's time to take it to the next level and go down to Antarctica.
So you're going to be on the book.
So yeah, it should be good. I've got to get a few world records under my belt. So.
Yeah, okay. So where were you in the video I'm referring to?
So I was on an icebreaker ship. Which is very cool.
Where is that?
So that was up in the Arctic Circle.
Okay.
And so we took that out, and it breaks through the ice. Just like
I watched it. Yeah.
And then you can stop in the middle of the ice and just hop out onto the ice. It's solid.
You weren't scared. Could you not feel the coldness from the water?
Oh, the water was warmer than, I mean, the water's 0 and the outside air temperature is -20.
Oh, wow.
So in the, you saw us in the,
You were floating in that red suit.
yeah, in our survival outfits. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was a very cool trip, and I mean, spent some time up in Sweden and up in Lapland and Finland. Met Father Christmas up in Lapland.
Okay,
and,
so he exists.
Yes,
Okay.
he really does.
All right.
Went dog sledding up there. It's incredible. I mean, we went out at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon to go dog sledding, and by the time it got to 2:30, it was pitch black. And I mean, they have 2 hours of daylight up at the top there. So I mean, I just love exploring the planet and doing these things. So then I headed over to the UK for Christmas, Miami for New Year's, and then went down to Nicaragua because I wanted to see there's a erupting volcano in Nicaragua.
Wow.
So quite an incredible sight to see all the bubbling lava coming out of that. So that was on the bucket list, and then go into the jungle, see a few sloths and things, and then flew back here. So for a couple of days at least before Davos. Yeah.
Before you go to the next spot. When are you going next? Where are you going next?
In what are we? 2 weeks time, I'm off to Bali.
2 weeks time, yeah.
Yeah, we're building an investment community down in Bali with lots of like-minded entrepreneurs. I mean, the opportunities down there are incredible. It's the gold rush, really. So an investment down there is super exciting, and so you kind of get 20% yield on your rentals down there, and you can have such a peaceful way of life being in the fields down there. So our place is called Bali Fields, overlooking on the rice fields.
Going back to that trip that I was referring to with the icebergs and everything, right? Were you not scared when you were in the water that there could be a killer whale right under me?
I think we're pretty safe up there, so it was all good. But I mean, I love a bit of adventure, and it's finding things. I mean, I'm actually looking to go and swim with killer whales. That's another thing on my list.
Incredible. Where, in South Australia?
No, so to do that off of Norway.
Norway.
So I mean, look, I've had the chance to meet some incredible animals along the way, going up into Rwanda and seeing the gorillas.
Yeah, I've seen that video actually.
Yeah. Diving with sea lions in the Galapagos, and playing with them look like little puppies. I love the opportunity to explore the planet, and hopefully through our businesses we do that, and that's what drives me, I guess.
Yeah. You know, not many guests have I had that I've been jealous of, right? You are one. Because, you know, I consciously, when I set up my businesses, I consciously made sure that I can have them run without me. And that's to travel. My number one passion in the world is traveling, right? I'm going to Berlin every 10 days I go somewhere. I'm going in 2 days. I travel a lot, and you are very well traveled. Everywhere that you want to go.
Passion, for sure.
I know. And your work is in it too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
job is in it, which is incredible. Which is something that I need to do more. But consciously, when I set up my businesses, we've got a nightclub as well.
Oh, nice.
Don't need to be there constantly. And we've got a chain of 9 gyms and an insurance company and stuff like that. And gyms, you don't really need to be there, but you know, to be in an industry of travel, it's just incredible.
Yeah,
right.
No, I'm so passionate about it, and for me, it's for our customers, I just get excited to try and create new experiences, and it's always something that's trying to be out of this world and this next generation of experiences that is just mind blowing.
I mean, you're right. Bali's such a gold rush right now.
It really is. It's a huge, and I think we found that again. We're talking about our travel trends that we've been discovering on luxury travel, and we've coined this new phrase as the luxury nomad. Everyone's known the digital nomad, but nowadays you really do see people that genuinely can afford to travel and have big businesses still, but spend time away from it. So proper CEOs, not just guys on their laptops. So we've definitely seen a trend in wealth moving to these regions as people have realised they don't need to work from their offices. So it's certainly the lifestyle choice. I think that being around that environment, the stress level just drops so significantly compared to, I mean, I live my winters here and my summers in Monaco, and it's the glitz, the glamour, the party, the everything, but it's so wonderful to go back to the peace of Bali sometimes. For sure.
Of course. So you spend a bit of time in Bali too? Yeah,
so I mean, our villas will be finished, phase 1 will be finished in October. So I'll be spending a lot more time down there.
Wow.
So yeah, very excited for that.
There's an incorporation of cryptocurrency with the villas, isn't there?
There's a cryptocurrency with everything we do. I mean,
interesting.
We're built from the ground up with our yacht and jet business to work in crypto. In fact, it's where we started our company, and we're lucky enough to look after some of the most influential people in that crypto sector for managing, whether it be their yachts or looking after their charters and flights. So it's definitely been an exciting whirlwind journey, and because of that we've then created that network. So we take crypto with zero fees, and obviously Dubai's got a great hub for a lot of these people, so and we understand it, so it's very easy for us to do those deals. And if someone's looking to buy an aircraft or a yacht in crypto, we're the people to come to.
So what you do is, so you're incorporating crypto as a payment service rather than investment service. Like if I was to buy a villa or get in on that, because obviously it's the gold rush right now, and I want to invest some money into some villas in Bali. Do you have that system where you can invest in future projects and returns through a cryptocurrency, or do you solely use the cryptocurrency as a payment service to buy a jet or buy a villa?
Yeah, so we use it as a payment service, and I think specifically related to that, what we found is that a lot of people wanted to diversify their crypto into other asset classes, but generally nothing's as exciting as crypto. But with 20% yield on our villas in Bali, people were like, that's exciting. And it was like, well, you can also do it with the same community. So most of the people who've invested there are all big crypto guys, actually.
I see.
It's worked out pretty well.
I see. So when you mean yield, so if I was to park some money and buy a villa,
yes.
Do you mean the yield as in I will...
We'll rent it out for you, and you'll get 20% a year back on your rental.
But I own the property.
It's yours.
And then you rent it out for me, and I get 20% back on my money, and that's after fees? Company fees?
There is management fees as well.
Strata fees, of course.
So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That's a very good return. And also, you're almost just...
And the value of the asset too. I mean, like you said, the prices are, we got offered double our land value since we bought it 12 months previous. So I mean, it's
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's double.
Yes.
In 3 years.
In one year, we got offered double. Before we started building, we'd had the land for a year. We got offered double the price. So
incredible.
But we wanted to do the project. That's what we're here for. So.
And how many units on that land?
We're launching with 18. And then we're looking to turn this into a hotel brand around the world, actually. So
incredible.
It's just one of many, and bringing together. But it's all driven by community. We actually launched this project. It's part of our global committee, which is a impact investment business that we have, and it's something that we brought together through a series of events, and we wanted to bring together all our network. We've got very influential people, interesting, exciting people, from astronauts to billionaires as part of our customer base. So we were like, let's bring all these people together. So we started hosting global committee events around the world, which have been super exciting. So we've had some amazing experience. We had a chateau in the south of France. We've been bringing together talks from Airbus to Blue Origin to Virgin Galactic. So really talking about exciting stuff that's really making an impact on the planet.
Incredible. I'm glad I met you now, because when you're 60, you're going to be a giganaut. You're going to be a tycoon. I mean, you already are, but you're going to be a tycoon by the time you're 60. And I'll say, I did a podcast with him.
Look, I mean, life's about having fun. That's the priority.
Course.
And I mean, happiness first. And so it's trying to find, but I think we do that. Our goal with all our customers is like, it's never about the money. It's about what creates happiness. And it's trying to, those money can't buy experiences, those things is just breathtaking. Those moments, taking a yacht for the week with your family, going experiencing something, finding a new destination. I mean, we do trips taking yachts down to Antarctica and going heli skiing down there. I mean, some of the stuff that you can really tick off your bucket list is, I think there's more things than people even realise.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Look, there's so many experiences, and I mean, a lot of the experiences, I'm just realizing it through your Instagram, to be honest. Like, I knew about the monkey thing, the gorilla thing. Yes. I knew about that. Was that scary?
I mean,
because usually there's a glass. Usually, right? There's a glass between you and the gorillas.
You're going with guides that are incredibly familiar. I mean, when I say incredibly familiar, these guides live with the gorillas, so that they keep them safe and they look after them. They're there to protect them, and so you feel very much in their hands. I mean, and I've spent a lot of time with wild animals, whether that's working with a lady that looked after wild wolves and going meeting the wolves and having the wolf kiss you, which is a very unique experience, because they treated you like one of the family coming back after a kill to give the babies food, and so they come and look for food in your mouth, and they end up kissing you. You've got this photo of this wolf.
And they're wild.
Yeah.
And that's crazy that they'll do that. If it was like domestic dog, different story, but that's wild.
But I mean, this lady had spent about 15 years with this same pack in the mountains, and we actually came down one night from the mountains, and we sat around the campfire, and she's like, "Come out here," and she went and howled into the mountains, and you heard the pack howl back at her. It's the most incredible experience. Yeah.
Where was this?
Up in Norway, up in Tromsø.
Are you still in touch with the lady?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, we do trips for our clients up there now. So,
with her?
Yeah, so GPM, our experience company, does all these crazy trips, and that is one of them, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. If you like this video, consider subscribing. We do weekly podcasts with experts in every industry to help you find direction and guide you on your way. Now let's get back into it. Do you have any trips in Iran?
We don't. That's definitely missing off our categories.
Okay. What about North Korea?
North Korea. So I mean, with the Gumball Rally, I did organise a trip to North Korea, but it's still on my bucket list to go. Definitely.
Oh, you haven't been?
So no, I haven't, not yet.
No. Okay. So you know, these extreme places, you can't really. There's no real. There's no avenue for them yet to kind of be able to have these experiences.
Oh, there certainly is. Yes, very much. So there's companies that do a lot of that. I think our experiences are. My personal experiences are certainly adventurous and a little bit off the beaten track, but as a business, we play a bit more of a fun avenue. I mean, we take people on trips to Everest, to base camp at least, where you can have champagne at base camp by helicopter, and so we try and create the luxury avenue. Again, same with we do a private plane to. Antarctica for the day, so you go down to Antarctica for the day, which is pretty cool.
And it lands?
Yeah, lands to spend the day down in Antarctica.
Because there is a Qantas flight that doesn't land, and it goes to Antarctica and comes back.
Oh, really?
You know about that, no?
No, I didn't know about that.
Well, obviously being Aussie, you see it. It gets up from Adelaide, it goes down, you see Antarctica from the window, and then it goes back to Adelaide.
No, we land there and you can go and have lunch.
Yeah, you need that. You need to be able to get out, right? Just seeing it from the window, might as well watch it on TV.
And we can do one where, we take you down to the South Pole and go and see the penguins. Loads of stuff. It's very cool. Yeah.
Have you met David Attenborough?
I haven't. He is certainly an idol for sure.
Yeah.
I've stayed in the room he stayed in the National Geographic Lodge in Borneo, but other than that, that's about the closest I've got to meeting him.
We talked about your empty leg flights before, right? Yeah. Empty legs are so nice because it makes it so affordable for everyone to experience that travel experience, that ultra luxury private jet experience. If nobody books that, what happens? Does that plane come back anyways?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that plane is flying to a destination to meet another client. There's just a gap in between, right?
Sure.
So you're kind of filling that gap. So if someone's looking to get into understand more about private jets, it's a great intro to kind of that experience, of course. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. It's still going to be more than your first class flight.
Yeah,
but if you're open to that sort of budget anyway, it's certainly going to be the cheaper way to do it. It might mean you need to be a bit flexible with the dates, but I mean, who doesn't? It's part of the journey. So if you want to go with some work colleagues, some friends, do something kind of as a fun trip, and you can kind of contact us, go, where's the next empty leg going to? We're like, cool, why don't we go to Morocco this weekend?
Exactly.
So yeah, look, like I say, it's going to be more costly than a normal flight, but it's certainly going to be a lot cheaper than selecting your dates, time and specifications. So I think that's a good way to kind of get people involved in that. And we're also, as part of the yacht business too, and the jets, is we're looking at doing more community trips where you could take a per seat on an aircraft and come on a yacht. So we actually have a yacht this summer in Croatia. It takes 36 guests, and we've actually filled that out for the first date now, but we're looking at doing other dates where guests can come and take a cabin on the yacht and meet other people. And again, it's part of our communities that we kind of pull together, so like-minded individuals, and you just go on the opportunity to go and charter your own 60-meter super yacht might be a little bit out of budget, but to take a cabin on a yacht for kind of 10 grand or so might be more reasonable, but you get that whole experience and you get to meet some interesting people along the way.
Of course. So that's incredible. To break that down and to sell per cabin, to be able to make it affordable for everyone that wouldn't normally be able to. How do I get into this community just so I can be a part of that, because I'm definitely want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, contact one of our team at My Ocean. We're always
Sure.
doing cool trips like this.
So is it like a community, like an email that you guys send, or is it like a group chat?
Look, at the moment, it's very much in its infancy. We launched our first event with it's our inside customers, so anyone that's already booked on one of our trips.
Sure.
So, and same with GPM, our F1 business. For Monaco Grand Prix, we'll have a yacht at the Grand Prix. You can buy an individual ticket rather than taking a place on a yacht. So it's something that we've seen a huge demand for, and the community is really growing of our existing customers. So yeah, we're working behind the scenes, and there is a project to turn that into a dedicated kind of platform for our members, effectively, which is the plan.
That's gonna boom. I mean, that's you've just told me about an avenue that's going to boom. That you're at the infancy stage,
Yeah, very
right?
much. It's exciting.
Push that, because I can't wait for that.
Don't worry, it's coming.
I'm looking like, is there a group chat? There needs to be like a newsletter or something that people can sign up to, and then go.
We're working on an app that we're building this year, so more coming soon.
That's
Watch this
incredible.
space.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Well, for now, while it's at its infancy, I'll be reaching out and saying, is there anything available
Absolutely.
that me and my friends can book? Because we travel. I'm going to Berlin with like 9 guys, right?
Yeah.
So we're staying at some chalet or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but the boys organize it. But yeah, I mean, I know my group of friends. We would love to.
Yeah.
If there's like a yacht and we can book like 9 whatever.
Yeah,
9
exactly.
rooms, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
So okay, so you book out, so you can purchase per seat. Look, I always say, when you fly a business or first, the holiday starts when you get to the airport.
Very much.
The lounge, the service, and everything. But if you're flying economy, the holiday starts when you've arrived to the destination.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So of course, it's just because you don't want to go to Croatia doesn't mean you can't. Like, you should experience that private jet experience. Right?
I mean, that is honestly, it creates an additional part to the holiday. Going private is just the next step above first. I mean, it's such a fun experience, and like I said, we've had DJs on the plane and parties. I mean, it's yours to have fun with, so highly recommend it.
100%. I mean, I would even
worth
go
the extra investment.
Exactly. I would go just for the experience. I've flown private a few times, not many, but a few times, and I recommend just doing it just for the experience. Doesn't matter if it's going to Islamabad, doesn't matter, right? Just go, try it out, and see the experience, because it really. The flying experience alone is the experience. It's not the actual destination of, okay, let's go to here for a holiday.
Yeah, no, very much. It's great to kind of, pop down to the galley, dig out a bottle of champagne for yourself, and
take that Instagram photo. Make it look like you do it every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, so you break that down for the empty leg flights, and you also break down the ocean, the My Ocean company that you also have.
Well, so I mean, My Ocean is, I mean, it's a super yacht management company that we're based globally, doing charter management of large yachts and sales. So that business we launched 4 years ago now. So that's been one of the fastest growing businesses in that sector, which has been super exciting as well. So we saw huge growth again from the crypto market and the new generation of customer, a lot of younger consumers that first time buying their first yacht, and taking people to look around a 100-meter yacht as their first boat purchase is certainly interesting.
Jesus, just crypto guys.
Yeah, a lot of, yes, very much so.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're seeing the next wave of wealth coming in. Has it been people in the crypto space?
Oh, significantly. I mean, the general younger wealth is certainly in tech and crypto. And it's an exciting community. They want to interact differently, do things differently. Like, we'll do deals completely on Telegram or WhatsApp. Like, we're not old school way of email us and we'll get back to you on Tuesday afternoon. It's, stuff gets done quick, 24 hours a day with us.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the crypto guys, the new guys that are coming and they're buying the young crowd that's coming and buying their first 100-meter yacht, whatever it is. How old is that person?
Generally late 30s, early 40s.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think the average super yacht owner is something like 65
Yeah,
years
of
old or
course,
something,
of course.
if not older. So yeah, that's certainly the oldest. I mean, aircraft owners are even older. It's like, yeah, it's very old. So we're definitely bucking the trend in that. But the old school legacy brokers just don't have that experience of the younger customers. So we've been bringing newer customers to the marketplace.
Yeah.
So we're less disrupting the current market. We're really supporting bringing in new customers, which is great.
Yeah. So you also broker the deal for purchase as well?
Correct.
Purchasing
Yes.
of jets.
Yeah.
So there's a database that you have, and then you basically.
I mean, look at a lot of like these are very bespoke relationships and deals, and I think that we have 8 companies in the group that range from everything from space travel to resorts to Formula One, and those clients over the years have evolved in different ways, and many own their own aircraft and want to purchase more. So we're lucky enough as a group to be able to fulfill all our customer needs across that.
Of course.
And it's an exciting business as it grows, and we're looking at the moment we're looking at IPOing part of the group as well, which is an exciting plan we have in the pipeline. We've seen some interesting ideas that we have coming up. So exciting times ahead.
I feel like your job, if somebody asked you, is just making people happy.
Absolutely,
Right?
that's it.
I think that's what you do. You just make people happy.
I mean, there isn't anything else, is there? I mean,
No.
I think people get too often people go, the end goal isn't money, it's happiness. And
Correct.
I was lucky enough to go
But we can't measure happiness. We can measure money, so we associate with it.
Yeah, but I mean, that has been part of my goal, is to try and measure happiness. And I went and spoke in Bhutan in the Himalayas about this so the Gross National Happiness Conference they have out there, and went to meet the king. They measure their country's wealth based not on their GDP, on their GNH, their gross national happiness. And it's such a fascinating country because of that. And they bring together some of the most incredible minds from around the world who really have studied this as a topic. And we look at how you can make yourself happier. I mean, just those little steps. And there's this balance between, you need change, and you need contentment, and it's this balance between the two, because but some of those little changes really create stimulus. I always recommend to people those little steps. It's like, if you're going to work, drive a different way to work every day. That's going to give you this whole new endorphin rush as you experience new things. Or when you're at home, rather than just ordering out again the same food, cook a different meal. And those little moments that you get are really the things that start to create value and happiness in your life. And it's looking for the smaller things. Of course, we can do these incredible money can't buy experiences as well, but I think it's so important to focus on the details of what makes you happy in life, and make your day-to-day routine full of happiness.
Yeah, I get that. Philosophically talking, what makes you happy? I mean, for me, just to give you an example, I think progress and being proud makes me happy. All right, what makes you happy?
I think for me, it's...
Don't say like a jet ski.
If you've ever seen the Instagram caption.
Philosophically speaking, what makes you happy?
Have you ever seen a sad guy on a jet ski?
Never seen a sad guy on a jet ski.
I think there's a level of, especially with the world and the busyness of it, it's finding that calming and peace that you need, the clearer mind, and what brings that to you is freedom. That opportunity to say, I am free, I have freedom. So understanding what freedom looks like as a goal for yourself is probably what's going to help bring happiness to you. And I think that people can be tied by finances or other people. They can be in codependent relationships, they can be tied down by family, they could be in difficult situations, and it's trying to understand how they can be looking for that freedom and peace in what you do. So I think for me that's number one, is how do you create freedom, and then working backwards from there.
Sure, so freedom, you'd say.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good answer. It is freedom. But for me as well, not having to wake up and please anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, of course that does mean, I don't need to think about finances, you don't need to look at something like...
Of course.
So that there are lots of challenges in that, but trying to close all the tabs, as I call it, it's... imagine you go onto your desktop and it's just full of open tabs. It's like close some of those off, create a clearer mind and declutter, de-stress, and then there's less pressure on you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So you provide experiences. One of the experiences that I want to talk about is the Formula One. Do you provide which Grand Prix do you provide these experiences in?
We provide everything for everything.
All of them?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been in Formula One for 16 years.
Okay, who's your team? Has it changed or has it always been the same?
In reality, like, my passion is for the business of Formula One. So my team has always been about who I'm working with. I love the business. So if I'm working with a team, like, of course, when I launched it was with Tony, my business partner at the time, who started with what was Team Lotus. That then went on to Caterham when he bought the car company. So I was super passionate about that, although we were bottom of the grid for sure. But it was something exciting. And then, of course, seeing us Brits come through from Lando and through to Lewis, of course, and George. So, but yeah, my passion's been so much about the business of Formula One, and anyone that wants to understand a bit more about that has got to watch Drive to Survive. That really helped us as an industry. But I mean, it's really the pinnacle of hospitality and entertainment. You're going there with this adrenaline-fueled weekend, whether you're at the Jewel and the Crown in Monaco on a super yacht drinking champagne, or whether you're in Mexico City, like experiencing all of the excitement of the crowds. There's so many different ways to experience Formula One and get really engaged with it. And of course, at the level we do it, it means you can get down into the garages and meet the drivers. And I mean, we were throwing Lewis Hamilton's party on our yacht in Monaco, in Abu Dhabi, through to like doing like crazy parties in Monaco and having Prince Albert on the yacht. So it really is a different magical world, and you're mixing this world of glitz and glamour with boys, toys and adrenaline. It doesn't get much better. Yeah.
So I would look at Monaco as perfect for your business, and I would look at Abu Dhabi perfect for your business. I think it's because right next to the water and you can back up all the super yachts. Somewhere like, for example, that doesn't have, like Las Vegas. Yeah. There's no water there. No. Right? So what would you do there?
I mean, as a business, we have a paddock club that we sell on behalf of Formula One. And we also offer unique access with all of the teams. So if there's something that you want to get behind the scenes. We also work bigger deals with corporates. So we manage some of the sponsorship deals and have done some big deals with the teams. So that's been an exciting one.
Okay, so if somebody was to purchase a ticket on a super yacht, do you also break that down to per cabin or per seat or something like that? Can someone buy that experience?
Yeah, I mean, when you come to us at the Formula One, the pinnacle is, of course, Monaco. Then it means that you can buy a ticket starting at about $5,000 for the weekend to come and watch the race, drink champagne on back of the yacht.
On the yacht, $5,000?
Yeah. So come hang out, come do those things, meet some super interesting people. And I mean, the people that meet on our yachts and things like that, they end up doing business together and deals. It's really been a community that we've built through that. So so that's super exciting. Through to taking the master cabin on the boat for $40,000 for the weekend. So there's a huge range of options. Or you just come for a party on Saturday night with Eddie Jordan and a few other kind of celebs hanging about for $600. So it's across the board, but it certainly offers some exciting opportunities for people.
You know I'm going to be a pest, right? you know I'm going to be messaging you all the time.
Absolutely.
Saying, what are we looking at? What's the ticket situation? What's available?
I'm sure we can do a deal.
You know I'm going to be a pest now. Coming on my podcast was a bad idea for you.
I need the jet, I need the yacht, I need the Formula One tickets.
All that. Well, I'm going to be messaging you saying, listen, Formula One, what's going on? Is there any tickets? What's going on for Monaco? Because I'm a big fan of Formula One. I'm from the same city as Daniel Ricciardo.
Ah, there you go.
Very close friends with his cousins and his family. And I've never been to a Formula One match.
Match.
Grand Prix.
If you call it match, you're never getting invited.
You don't know. Grand Prix. I've been in Dubai for 1 year, and even last year I wasn't able to go. I had to go to Australia. So it was. It's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad.
You've got to put it on your bucket list.
Yeah, of course. I feel like my life has just started because I'm from Perth. Yeah. Have you been to Perth?
I haven't. No, I've been to Sydney.
Little old Perth. Yeah, most isolated city in the world. Yes. I feel like my life is just starting. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I'm. That's why I'm looking at your life, thinking.
Well, they say, like, I think one of those things, and I think that now we're still in January. I think we're 85th of January today, right? It's like, and I think that, like, one of those things is say that have a year-defining moment each year. And for me, that's like setting a goal of something that you want to achieve in the year. And going for it and being like, that's the thing I did this year.
Yeah.
So if that goal isn't big enough to go, I did this in 2024, that's the wrong goal.
Exactly.
So it's like, right, what's your 2024 life year-defining goal?
Yes.
And I think that's a great one to look at.
Yes. Look, I tell people all the time, you know, I set a goal for myself last year, something very pretentious, but I didn't need a goal, right? So I set a goal of just buying a Lamborghini, right? I purchased a Lamborghini, and you know, people say, "Oh, what are you trying to, you know, subsidize for, whatever?" Right? It's not that. It's if I've reached all my goals, if I'm financially stable and I don't need to work and my business is thriving and doing well, if I don't set myself a goal, I'm gonna end up chasing my own tail.
Yeah.
At least set something, even though Lamborghini wasn't my dream, but something, so at least you have something to work towards. And guess what? When you get it, your confidence grows even more because that's something else that you conquer.
100%. I totally agree. I mean, I had that when I was younger, and like I wanted a supercar, and like my first supercar was an R8, and like
Gorgeous.
But I didn't even need it. I barely drove the thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that I woke up every morning when I left my house and walked outside and went, yeah. And it created this confidence, like you say.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, it is a luxury asset and all of like. But the reality is that you're trying to achieve these things in life that give you some sort of goal and a mindset towards it. Like they always say, it's like try and pay the extra for business class because you'll have that experience and you'll never want to go back.
Exactly.
So I think setting some of these goals, even if they are something luxurious, then that's a great thing to do because once you start achieving it, it really does motivate you hugely, and I've seen that with so many people.
R8s are gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah.
What color?
I had a grey one, and I wrapped it orange for our supercar rally that we host.
Yeah.
Then I went to go on McLaren, and now I've got a Lambo as well, actually.
No, you're a Lambo. Did you get rid of the McLaren?
The McLaren was in the UK.
I was in the UK. You still there?
No. So
Which Lambo did you get?
The Hurricane.
The Hurricane. Yeah, very nice. What
You'll
color?
see it parked outside my
Really?
house. Yeah, yellow.
Yeah. Listen, to be honest with you, like I've had the supercars. It's all well and good, right?
Yeah.
It's all well and good, but just being chauffeured around is just a different story. It's just being able to continue to work, and
That's what I find.
right?
Yeah.
We touched on your network before. How did you meet Elon Musk, by the way?
I actually met him out in London with friends, and
What, like in the pub?
it wasn't quite a.
Okay.
It was in a very private members club, but yeah, we were just chatting, and obviously he's very hard to engage and trying to. He was someone that I certainly looked up to and was very passionate about. So we were just having a discussion about a very interesting topic, and we kind of started talking about it. And he's like, "Message me about that." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, so I emailed him the next day.
What? So you exchanged details?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's his email?
So I emailed him the next day.
Sure.
And
Tell me later.
and I said what we discussed. And surprise, surprise, within a few hours, I got an email back with his whole team CC'd in me, let's make this happen. And I was like, wow. So that was definitely...
How long ago was this?
Oh, this was 6 years ago now.
Okay.
So,
and did you guys make it happen?
We did part of it, but yeah, it's a long story. But yes, the other bits I can't go into.
We can't
go
into. Okay.
But yeah, it's very cool, and there's still stuff that is in the pipeline to happen in the future. So yeah,
Incredible.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, and obviously you have a very friendly relationship with Richard Branson.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Again, like spending time with Richard. I mean, every year I either go to his island or go skiing with him, and so he's such a great character and just so charismatic. So I love being. I mean, on Necker, people like that's where he lives and he spends the majority of his time. So it's really quite a great time to like. So I'll just turn up at breakfast. And I remember some of the first times I've been on Necker meeting him, and you just sit down at breakfast, and then Richard just sat down beside you, like, morning, like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just about to go and play tennis, and like, let's have a chat about this. So yeah, we were, and then there's actually a funny picture of me and him on Instagram, and it's this story because obviously I was partners with Tony, and Richard and Tony had this bet of whose Formula One team would be highest in the World Championships. And Richard lost the bet, and because they both owned airlines, the bet was whoever lost had to dress up as an air stewardess and go and serve drinks on their flight, on their airline. So Richard lost, and Richard dressed up in full air stewardess outfit, lipstick and high heels, and went and served Tony on the aircraft. Although Richard got his own back, because when he went to serve them with a tray of orange juice, he poured it all over Tony. So there's a picture of Richard pouring orange juice, about to pour orange juice on me at breakfast.
That's the story on that. So how does it work when you go on Richard Branson's island? Do you have to let him know, or is it, are you that level of like no invite, just rock up?
We plan a trip usually once a year with a group of other entrepreneurs. So it's really nice. Like, we all go there, and actually it's not just come here and let's have a crazy party. We all go, we talk about what projects we're all working on, we all support each other. Richard joins us for the whole time, because I mean, he's there at his house, which is all so we're all in one big giant house effectively on the island. So each day in the mornings we'll all go and sit down together and just do these brainstorming sessions with each other's businesses, and we'll all present what we're doing, and everyone will give insights, including Richard and any other billionaire friends that might stop by at the time. And it's just such a lovely time to discuss that. And then in the afternoon we'll go out kite surfing and having fun, and in the evening we'll have a bit of a party. So it's such an incredible week that we go and do, and I just love it. It's one of my favourite times of the year.
And is there a plane lands on his island, or how do you get there? Or a water plane?
No, there's no runways on Necker, but there is a helipad. So you land in Tortola on Beef Island. And once you land in there, then you can just take either the speedboat acrouse or land by helicopter. Yeah.
Incredible.
So.
Obama was there.
He was. Yeah, absolutely.
And he was kite surfing.
Kite surfing.
That's right.
Yeah, it's Richard's favourite hobby. So I remember being there on the beach one day, and Richard's like, "Oh, I've got to go kite surfing in a bit, and they're going to film me." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll see you down at the beach." He runs down to the beach, and I turn up there later, and I'm driving my golf buggy from my room, and Richard comes out completely drenched in a full tuxedo and tie. It's like, "Johnny, I'm soaking, can you take me back?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" And it was National Tie Day, and Richard hates wearing ties. He'll never wear a tie. So just for National Tie Day, he decided to wear a full tuxedo and go kite surfing in it.
Incredible.
But I've had times when friends have turned up for his house for dinner, and one guy did it deliberately. He turned up with a tie on, and Richard grabbed his tie, got a pair of scissors out the kitchen, and cut his tie off on top of the standing on the table. So funny.
He's got a great life, doesn't he?
He really does. He's got it.
Yeah, I think that's what retirement would look like to me. Just on the island, the Bali, Thailand, something like that. That's what retirement would
Nailed
be for
it.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to Thailand?
I have, yeah, many times.
I love Thailand.
Yeah, no, very much.
Do you like Bali over Thailand?
No, I mean, look, Bali's my third home in the in the circle. But
so it's Monaco, Dubai, and Bali.
Correct. Yeah, it's a good combo.
How long have you been in Dubai for?
3 years now.
Okay, so where was home for you before Dubai?
So pre-COVID, it was in London, and I was there. I was the first guy in the office, last one to leave. I lived in and worked in Mayfair, so I walked to the office every single day, and that was how I lived. And then COVID came, and I just wanted to escape. So a few days into lockdown, I managed to get out and get down to south of France and just reassess things. And I think for a lot of people during that time, it was people either kind of rocketed to success or found it a very troubling time. I'm fortunate that as much as we were in the events business, mainly with a lot of our companies, so we did struggle. It was definitely a time for reset, and a super exciting time for me. So I then moved down to the south of France and kind of thought that Monaco would be my home base, but decided to come out here for the winter for a month or so and do our Abu Dhabi Formula One with our F1 business. And this country just took me. It's such an incredible land, and we were I was just in Davos, and the branding over the Emirates stand is impossible is possible, and it's very much the psychology of this country is everything's possible, and I love that. So this will always be a home base for me, and very much love it.
I mean, the city just breeds entrepreneurialism and opportunity. You know, it's just, I feel like it's home for me. I feel like the city was custom made for me because I love traveling.
Yes.
And I love the entrepreneurialism spirit.
Yeah.
And it has that, and it's Dubai. I mean, we treat planes here like buses.
Yes.
It's like, should I go to Portugal tonight? Sure. Let me see what it can
I mean,
do.
it's so exciting because you have a country with so many millionaires in it, so many people achieving success. So everyone's automatically on a higher plane. Everyone's moved here from somewhere else. So when you've only got 5% of the country is Emirati and local here in Dubai, it means that everyone else has come here from someone else. They've come here to start a new life, experience something new. So everyone's excited to talk, do business, learn, network, and create something. So you've got such a land of high achievers. And I always say that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Of course.
And that psychology is so important. It's something that I really resonates with me all the time is, am I hanging out with those 5 people that I aspire to be, that I want to be like? And so that's always a priority for me.
Yeah, and everyone's so reachable and touchable here.
Yeah.
Right? You can meet CEOs very easily. In New York, I lived in New York for a year. Everything's close-knit, cliquey. With here, because obviously nobody went to school together.
Yeah.
Right? There's no clique.
Yes, correct.
There's no clique here. Nobody went to school together. We're all here from somewhere else. We all have to mingle, right? So that's something that actually has a lot going for it. Right?
Yeah, very much.
Out of all the experiences that you offer, what's one that is at the top of the list that everybody has to do? Is it the gorillas?
No. Like, so I mean, in terms of like our experiences and what I love, I'm super passionate about. Actually, our trip to Iceland. We do like. I mean, it's been in the news recently a lot because the volcano exploded there. If any of you guys saw that, but I mean, it's such an incredible place up there, and we take these big giant monster trucks and we go driving over the volcanoes and over the glaciers. But it's so much more than that because all our trips are about how you bond with people. So we do corporate incentives, so we'll work with Airbus or Samsung doing these kind of unique experiences, and trying to get people to really connect with each other and bond. And we do that in such an incredible way on trips like Iceland, where you're digging each other out of the snow, you're getting stuck in a blizzard, and
Sounds horrible.
But these things are so much fun, and you make friends for life. So people have come and done business deals, set up companies, and really had life-changing experiences on our trip. And I'm so proud to be able to create trips like that. So
it's funny when you go through such a hard time like that, where you have to lean on each other, that brotherhood of like, we need to, dig this trench or whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of it, when you survive, you almost have this feeling of we survived together.
Well, I mean, I've had quite a few of those experiences myself, I guess. So I got shipwrecked on a desert island in the Pacific Ocean. So 10 days with no food, water or shelter.
Oh my God, 10 days.
It was such a great experience. I mean, one of the most powerful things is not having a phone for 10 days, or not having phone signal, more importantly.
Did you think you were going to die?
No.
Like,
the reality of that situation is that you need 2 things, and money's not going to help you, but you need someone that can make fire, and you need someone that can catch fish. Unfortunately, I can make fire, and someone else can catch fish. And it was just such a emotional roller coaster and experience, but I absolutely loved it, and something that is left a mark on me to this day. So very powerful experience. And I remember being there, like making this bow and like getting all the woods together, and I mean, what a thing to try and make fire, but we did, so it's quite cool.
I actually watched that video.
Yeah.
And I remember you made a comment going, Jesus, that was hard. Just starting the fire, you thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it was.
It took about 24 hours.
Oh my God, to start a fire. How are you doing it, like that?
No, so that's quite challenging.
Okay.
But the problem is to go to the next level, you have to be quite technical. So you have to create the bow. So you have to, we had to get bark from the trees, and then we had to get that into the water and soak it, and then turn that into string, and then find a softwood that would then bow, and then we could then use that to create the drill piece. And all we had was a machete with us. So
no.
Yeah.
Was there a camera crew? No.
No.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, what an experience. You know, you know, people that I've done 80 podcasts now,
Yeah.
right? And typically I find that people that have had near life death experiences
Yeah.
are people that just see life so differently.
Yeah,
right?
very much, yeah.
And you know, I thought to myself, those people are always so positive because they're so, because obviously they go, hey, I nearly died, I had a gun to my head, da 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 da. And I was thinking, imagine if we made a business about that. And it's like, hey, listen, I don't feel like my mum lives her life to the fullest potential. And then there's a company that actually goes and kidnaps her for 3 days, has a gun to her head, whatever. And then at the end goes, look, that was just, the whole thing was just a joke. But like, you know what I mean? Just to...
I think this is a super exciting area, and it's something that we actually look at as a business. And I mean, personally, I'm working on doing the 7 summits, so climbing the 7 highest peaks on the continents.
Wow.
It's
incredible.
Some of those moments. I mean, when I first started doing anything physical, it was a 10K run, and I just didn't think I could do it. And it was always this thing I aspired to do, because you saw people doing 10K runs. And then when I started climbing mountains, I realized that it's so much in the mind. And summit days are very unique, climbing mountains. It's something that's one of the most challenging experiences in your life, because by the format of how they work, you're waking up about 11 p.m. at night. You'll then get up and start climbing through the night. In the pitch black, you're exhausted, you're at the highest peak, so you've got the least oxygen you've had on the entire experience. And you can't kind of get out of breath or get too sweaty, because then it will freeze, and then you've got hypothermia issues. You get out of breath, you're going to struggle to get it back, so you've got to go at such a slow, methodical pace. And that whole journey to get to peak by sunrise. Yeah. And so when I've climbed Elbrus in Russia, or down in these unique mountains that have just, but there's some life-threatening times, and it's really quite a unique experience for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. It's actually really pushing the boundaries of just seeing how much you can push yourself, because sometimes you don't know how strong you are until you actually are in that position.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you've been there many times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, many times. I mean, I remember waking up in Antarctica at -20, and I had frost inside my sleeping bag, and it was this. And I remember the guide said to me, it's like, don't put your head inside the thing. I was like, why? And so I just don't do it. And then it's like, you realise you breathe out, it's so cold that your breath just turns to ice. So I woke up with ice all inside my sleeping bag, and I was like, this is probably not good.
Yeah. Should have listened.
Yeah.
Should have listened. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I had a great time, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of notes that I didn't really cover because I was just enjoying talking to you. But I'm looking forward to making some memories with you on a yacht somewhere. And now that we've linked, I'm definitely going to be in the little circle to see what's available in these experiences. My life just started. I came from a village, okay, Perth.
Yes.
I came from a village, so I'm excited to see the world now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on board.
Cheers, man.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. And do you want to give us a clap?